Alright, hello, my name is Spencer, and I'm taking a look at Manor Lords. It just came out into early access, and this is not going to be a comprehensive look at the game, but a list of various things that I have noticed that I would like to see improvements on or changes to. And going forward, I will of course have more videos talking about other suggestions that I have. But this is the town that I currently have right now, and most of the things that I'm going to talk about have to do with the town management itself and like UI stuff. I haven't really done a lot of combat. This is year 5. I've been attacked once about 3 years ago, and I haven't been attacked again since. I've gotten alerts saying that other armies are moving around in other areas or moving through my area, but I have not been attacked by anybody. I don't know if this is a bug. I don't know if just nobody takes me seriously or something like that, and that's why they don't bother with me. But I did notice the lack of attacks. So, the first thing that I want to talk about is this jobs section up here. I would like most of the things on this bar at the top to be clickable. So I want to see jobs. There's 33 families assigned to different jobs. I'd like to be able to click on this and have a breakdown of all the people in the town, what jobs they work, where they're working, what's happening, right? That would be really helpful because I mean, different buildings are visually distinct, but like you have to kind of look around and figure out where everything is. I'd love a menu that just summarizes all that information. And the same with unassigned. I'd like to be able to click on that, or just make this one button, honestly. And I can see who's working, who's not, what are they doing. Would be super helpful. The other thing is that assigning families is a little problematic. For example, if I assign a family to a stable, right? Only one person actually has to guide the ox around. This is the person guiding the ox. Or no, it's not. You're guiding it. This one person is guiding the ox. The other two are sitting at home, not doing anything. And they will... I'll see if I can get them to do it. They will occasionally walk out of the house and just sort of walk around doing whatever. And oh, actually 2 of them are guiding ox. It's interesting. But a lot of the time they're doing nothing. They're at home, they're sitting there, they're not doing anything. And the thing with this is that I went around and I was looking at multiple houses to see, you know, who's doing things, who's sitting around. And I ended up finding a bunch of houses where people are not doing a lot. The jobs that they've been assigned only require one person to actually do them. So I found like 10 people that could have been doing other jobs, but the way this is structured now, they can't. Because for some reason, it takes 3 people to guide an ox, but really it doesn't. It only takes 1. And I see this all the time where one person is working and the 2 other people are waiting. So I think that job should be assigned on a per person basis. Either that or change how families and jobs work so that the entire family is required to do the work. What I don't want to see is, for example, with the sawmill, 3 people get assigned here. But then, currently, the way the sawmill works is only one person is required to actually saw the logs. The other 2 stay at home and they don't do anything. So, and maybe it's just my logistics is all messed up, but I have to wait around for a log to show up for quite a while. Meanwhile, these 3 people aren't doing anything until a log gets here, and then they can saw it. One person shows up, does it, and then they go home. and the other 2 have been at home the entire time. So either change the way the sawmill works so that it requires all 3 people, or again, let me assign people to jobs on a per person basis, not on a per family basis. I could, if I wanted to, assign an entire family to a particular job. Like if I wanted to assign all 3 people in a family, in one family, to the tavern, I could do that, but I don't have to. I could just hire different people from different houses if that's what I want. So I do take a bit of an issue with how the jobs work in the families and that kind of stuff. Back up to the UI at the top here. Population approval, regional wealth should all be clickable. In particular, regional wealth, but I'll get to that in a second. So, population growth, there's a nice little summary of what is influencing the population growth. If this is all that there is, a little tooltip popping up is fine. I'm used to having more detail about it in games that I play, or these types of games that I play, having more information than this. But if this is all it is, that's fine. Public order, also fine that it's just a tooltip. But the regional wealth, this is how much money I have, but I don't know how much money I'm making, right? And I don't know what I'm making it on. I don't know what I'm spending money on. And I'd really like this to be clickable so that there's basically a treasury window that comes up and has a summary of where's my money coming from? What am I making money on? What am I spending money on? All that kind of stuff. And we can get into a bit of the trading as well with that information. Because the trading post has all of this kind of information. You can filter by all these different things that you can import and export. What I'd like to see in this trading post menu, and maybe in a regional wealth treasury log, if the developer wants to do this, I would like to see this be a bit more concise. So this window is pretty small. I do have to scroll a bit here. I would like to see this window be larger so that I don't have to scroll as much. Another thing that I would really like to see is have all these categories, or have all these columns, I should say, filterable or sortable is maybe what I should say. So if you want a good example of what I mean by this, take a look at the game Tropico. I love Tropico, one of my favorite games, one of my favorite series of games, and they're really good about having a bunch of different menus that you can look through on economy stuff and trade stuff. It's really, really nice. But like I should be able to filter this by, there should be a little toggle here where I can filter everything that I'm exporting to the top, and then all the other things go below that. And the same with, I'd really like to be able to sort this, the different products in alphabetical order. I would love to be able to sort the price of imports and exports so I can see, okay, what's the cheapest import that I can get, or what is the thing that I can be exporting that's going to make me the most money. I could just filter plate armor to the top because there's a little toggle here, and maybe decide, okay, that the plate armor is a little expensive to make, and then immediately under that I'll have mail armor, sidearms, and pole arms, which don't require as many materials from me and my town to create, so I can say, oh, okay, I'm gonna focus on doing pole arms or sidearms or whatever. That would be really, really nice. And I would like to, as with Tropico, I would like to be awash with all of this information so that I can figure out, all of these economy things, all of these logistical things. Make this as easy as possible with the UI and showing exactly what's happening in your town with money and trade and all that kind of stuff. So, speaking of trade, I should go back to the trading post here. Gotta save, even though I haven't done anything. You can have a dedicated merchant who shows up to trade one good. This tooltip says that the traveling merchant will regularly visit your region and trade only that specific type of good. What does that mean, regularly? What I think it means is monthly. And if it means monthly, it should say monthly. The game is already broken up into, well, it's broken up into quarters, but it's broken up into months. It would make sense that it happens on a monthly basis. I think it would make less sense if it was on a quarterly basis or like once a year or something like that. No, it wouldn't be once a year. But just change that so that I understand how often it actually happens. And again, this would lead into clarity on the wealth, how much money I'm making, and when I'm making it. That would be very helpful. The other thing is, I think that the livestock should also be clickable, and it should show me which building each animal is assigned to and show the rest as unassigned. And I think that having the ability to assign animals to buildings should be possible from this window. Because as it stands right now, I don't control where animals are, like which stables animals are assigned. The animals all have, you can change the names, but they all have, I think I have like 3 or 4 different Thomases. I have a bunch of I have a bunch of Toms. Tom the oxes. I got a lot of them. But I don't control where they get assigned. So, for example, I assigned a livestock to the farmhouse. Ideally, what I would want is I would want you at a hitching post near the farmhouse. But whether or not, if I were to build a hitching post over there, whether or not that ox gets assigned to the hitching post that's over here is random. I don't have any control about that. And ideally, I want this ox to be at a hitching post right next to the farmhouse. So I should be able to assign individual animals to buildings and hitching posts or trading posts, or not trading posts, stables. That way I can keep the animals where I want them to be, so that when it comes time to plow the fields, that animal is right there. You don't have to go, nobody has to walk across town to go get it. It's close by. I would love to see that. The next thing here are the storehouses. Related to animals, I would love to see the storehouse allow for an animal assignment, because I want to see if I can find anybody, but I have seen people working at the storehouse pulling, here's one. You don't even work at the, oh, you're the trader. But I've seen people going around pulling little carts like that. I'd love it if there was an upgrade for the storehouse to allow for horses to be assigned. So that way when people are walking around town and transporting things, it can be a horse-drawn cart that will speed up logistics. This would obviously happen a little bit later into, not late game, but later into the game. It's a nice upgrade. You can speed up your logistics. It would be, oh, here's some right now. You assigned to the, yeah, you're a warehouse worker. That would be a really nice upgrade to speed up transportation in town. We're gonna go back to jobs a little bit here. So with farms, you can do seasonal crop rotations, right? So one year you can have it on a particular crop, wheat, barley, flax. I think there's another crop that I haven't unlocked yet. Or you can have it be fallow. Or I haven't unlocked this either. There is an ability, if we go here, somewhere, there is an ability, oh, it's this one. Allows a fallow field be held as pasture. So you can use farms for that as well. So you can have these seasonal rotations of what is being used on this farm. I think that a seasonal rotation of workers should be possible as well. That way I can free up people for construction and other things. Because as it stands right now, I could assign farmers here, but because it's the winter time, it's close to being spring. Oh, I guess it is spring. But during the winter and summertime, the farmers don't do anything, because in the springtime they come out here and they plow the fields and they plant. During the summer, these crops are growing, and then the farmers are active again in autumn so that they can harvest. So in the meantime, during summer and winter, the farmers are not doing anything, and then I have to come over here and unassign them, and then go around and look for the buildings and reassign them to other places. So people working seasonal jobs like farming, foraging, beekeeping, orchard workers, those people should be able to be assigned one other job that is not seasonal. So an apiary worker, the people managing the bees, work during the summer, and then they can do construction the rest of the year. Or farmers who work in spring and autumn to plant and harvest respectively are chopping down trees for lumber in summer and winter. Something like that, instead of doing this, assign, unassign, assign, unassign every single year. Allow me to do a little bit of set it and forget it. You're a farmer when you're required to be a farmer, and then you chop down trees or whatever. Let's see, artisan shops, right? You have the option, if you want to, you can convert different houses into with extensions for workshops. You can also do stuff like vegetable gardens. There's one that I upgraded, this one right here, that has a few goats, which give me hides passively, which is nice. But when you upgrade some of these houses, like this one to a brewery, for example, this one doesn't look like a brewery, and in fact it looks practically the same as the cobbler's shop. So I would like to see artisan shops be more visually distinct. So the brewery, for example, could have a bunch of barrels on the outside here. I imagine make the base building different looking, maybe make it multi-leveled or something, and have large barrels outside where it's like, oh, okay, that's where the fermenting happens. Maybe have like a little shed out back or something that has the smaller barrels that workers then come through and they roll them out of here and take them over to the tavern. Just make it apparent at a glance what this building is. And the same with something like the cobbler. I don't know what you would do with a cobbler. Would you put like a bunch of shoes outside the building, maybe put like a big sign on here on the front or whatever with like a big shoe on it. I don't really know how you make a cobbler shop look like a cobbler shop. And there was another one, the joiner shop, which I didn't know what a joiner shop was. It is, they make wooden parts, but the big thing is they make shields. You could, I don't know, you could have, again, a little storage area back here where you can see a bunch of shields. Whatever it is. And the same with any other extensions. You know, a tailor's workshop. I haven't built one of these, but you could have, I don't know, like clothes hangers or something with a bunch of clothing that they've tailored out back or something. But I would like to see those visual differences in the buildings. That would be really, really nice. And one other thing. Do I have one other thing? I think I only have one other thing. I've noticed that sometimes in the alert box here is I will get a notice that bandits have stolen something. They've come by, they've gotten into one of my buildings, and they've stolen bread or berries or whatever. And I have no recourse for this. What I would like to see is I would like to see town guards. This way you have an option to combat the theft. And I think these people should be recruitable in your retinue at your manor. And then instead of them being assigned to your retinue, or they automatically get assigned to the retinue, but then you can unassign them from the retinue and say, okay, I want you to join the town guard. That makes them unavailable to go out as a unit and fight other units, but that offers you some protection from bandits stealing things from town. Because like I said, something gets stolen and I just can't do anything about it currently. And you can increase the number of guards over time if you want. And like I said, the guards are not recruitable to units that go out and fight. But you could unassign them from guard duty and then they can join a unit and go out in the field to fight. I would say, however, if you have town guards and an enemy unit comes in from somewhere, the guards will fight those units. They won't just stand around doing nothing, but they're not going to go out in the field and fight. So listen, I know there wasn't really like any gameplay. I wasn't really doing anything, you know, as I was talking about this, but I mostly just wanted to talk. I mostly just had things to say about how the game functions and what I'd like to see. I will make more videos in the future as this game develops. I will say I am enjoying this game. I think it has a lot of potential. I'm very interested to see where this goes. I hope that this was helpful. I hope maybe the developer sees this and takes some of those things that I mentioned, in particular looking at Tropico and how they do like economy stuff and trade stuff and how that stuff is summarized and like visually how it's represented. That would be great to see, to have a better understanding of, you know, all of my commodities and crops and food and everything that I have, and the economy and jobs and all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to more. Subscribe if you'd like to see more updates on Manor Lords, on any other early access games I'm currently covering. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And I will see you next time.